My son, my daughter, take a deep breath. I brought you here myself. You think you arrived by chance, but it was I who moved everything so that you could hear what you are about to hear. Because time is running out, and your soul can no longer remain distracted. There are times when heaven needs to intervene, and this is one of them. I interrupted your routine because there is something spiritual in motion. Invisible to the eye, but real, urgent and dangerous. And if you ignore this warning, you could lose more than you realize. It's not an exaggeration, it's love. It's zeal. It's careful. I love you too much to remain silent while your spiritual life falls apart into distractions and impulsive decisions. You have felt this. The confusion that comes without warning, the tiredness that doesn't go away, the emptiness that no distraction can fill. It's war, son. It's an invisible battle, daughter. There is a fight going on for your purpose, for your mind, for your faith. And that's why I'm here. Not just to comfort you, but to wake you up. You can no longer sleep while the enemy sets up ambushes that look like a blessing. I see what you don't see. So today, I decided to talk to you myself. And I'm not alone. The sky moved because of you. My warrior, the Archangel Michael, came to me with a bowed face and burning tears. He did not come as a commander, but as an intercessor. He didn't lift a sword. He raised his voice. He pleaded for you with an intensity that made my throne shake. Sir, he said, your son is in danger. Your daughter is in danger of falling. Let me warn them. Let me protect them before it is too late. And I heard. I listened because I know who you are. Because I know every part of your heart, even the ones you try to hide. And because I know what's at stake. You carry something big, and that's why hell pursues you with so much subtlety. You think it's just hard days. Which is just exhaustion. But there are traps being set right now. Disguised as good opportunities, new connections, momentary relief. And if you continue to ignore the signs, you could fall into a trap that will keep you away from me for a long time. And that I cannot allow. Because I love you. Because you are no longer one. Because what is in your life was not born of the flesh or the will of the world. Born from heaven. It was written by me. And today, I come to remind you of this before the wrong choices extinguish the flame that still burns. You have felt this calling before. You've heard me in dreams, in messages, even in silence. But this time it's different. Because now it is decisive. This word is divine intervention. No longer an invitation. A summons. I am calling you to open your spiritual eyes. To discern what is behind the pain, the doubt, the distraction. To see that there is a war going on and that you are a target. But it is also protected. It is also chosen. It is also strengthened by me. Don't think you are weak. What you feel is a reflection of the weight of the anointing you carry. The enemy does not pursue empty vessels. He fears what you might do if you side with me. And that's why Miguel begs. Because he saw what lies ahead. And he knows that if you don't answer my call now, it may be too late. I'm not pressuring you. I'm freeing you. This is the chance that many ask for and ignore. I'm giving it to you now. And all I ask is that you listen to me like never before. May it not harden your heart. Don't treat this word that comes straight from my altar to your heart as anything. Because something is about to happen. And your answer will be the difference between fall and victory, between stagnation and the fulfillment of your purpose. Comment now, I choose to awaken. Because that simple, sincere and immediate response activates something in heaven. It shows that you heard, that you understood, and that you will no longer ignore this call. You still don't understand the depth of what is happening right now. But I want you to understand. I want you to feel the weight of my presence and the zeal of the sky around you. It wasn't just any movement that brought you here. It was something extraordinary. Because today, one of my greatest celestial warriors, the one I raised for eternal battles, stood before me in a way that rarely happens. Miguel did not come with a raised sword, he did not come as a war commander. He came with his face tilted, with teary eyes. He came with a burning heart, filled with compassion for your life. His words were not battle cries, but intense pleas. His voice breaking, he said to me, "Lord, your daughter is lost. Your son is surrounded. Something approaches, something that can lead them astray, something that can extinguish the flame of purpose. Let me warn them. Let me fight once again for them." And that, my son, my daughter, touched my heart deeply. Because I created you with eternal intentions. I formed you with plans that go far beyond what you can imagine. And seeing Miguel, the guardian that I sent so many times to protect your steps, coming to me with this cry, awakened an immediate movement in me. Because I do not leave anyone who cries out in truth unanswered. That's why I'm talking to you now. Not because I want to scare you, but because I want to preserve you. Because there is something strong approaching. Something that will require discernment, positioning, and courage. And I need you to wake up before this onslaught gets too close. It is not to generate fear. It is to generate surveillance. It's not to paralyze you. It's to activate you. Because when the sky moves like this, it's not because of just anyone. It's because there is something very special at risk. And that something is you. You can't imagine how many times I sent Miguel to your side. When you were about to enter places that would destroy your soul, he was the one who blocked the paths. When people with bad intentions approached, he was the one who broke ties, cut off access, and prevented alliances. When you cried in silence, when no one else noticed your emptiness, it was he who covered you with spiritual wings so that your soul would not be broken. There were nights when he stood guard around you. Days when he was sent to protect your spirit, even while your body walked distracted. And now, he cries out again. He cries out because he realizes what is approaching. Because he saw that you are vulnerable, that your eyes are clouded by worries, by distractions, by accumulated fatigue. He didn't ask permission to scold you. He asked to warn you. To open your eyes. To touch your soul with the seriousness of the moment. And I heard. I listened because I love you. Listen because there is an eternal value within you that not even you can fully see. You have found that the days are too heavy, that everything seems more difficult, slower, more tiring. But the truth is, you are being watched. The enemy has been studying your weaknesses, waiting for the exact moment to launch a disguised trap. He won't come shouting. He will come with promises. It will come with shortcuts. He will come with something that seems good, but that has the power to take you away from the center of my will. And that's why Miguel begs. And that is why I speak. Because I don't want to see you straying from what I prepared for you. You need to understand that your life is not ordinary. That your existence carries a spiritual weight. That your story has a prophetic role. When you decide to align with me, the heavens open. When you decide to obey me, chains are broken not only in you, but in your entire home. And that scares the enemy. He does not fear those who live distracted. But he despairs when someone wakes up spiritually. And now, heaven is calling you to wake up. So listen carefully. Don't ignore what you're feeling. This pressure in the chest, this heat in the soul, this feeling that something is happening, all of this is spiritual. It is my spirit confirming that this word is for you. I am present. Miguel is positioned. The sky is on alert. But the next step is up to you. Are you going to keep walking as if nothing was happening? Or will you recognize that you are being called to a higher place? If this word spoke to you, share it with someone who also needs to awaken. There are lives that will only hear my voice because you decided to be a channel. My son, my daughter, listen carefully. Time is running out. It's not a metaphor, it's not dramatization. It's real. The minutes that pass now never come back. Every second is a seed you plant in the soil of eternity. And I brought you here because the decision you make today can change the course of your spiritual destiny. It's not just an emotional or momentary choice. It's about where your soul will be tomorrow. This is about which path you will follow when this message ends. Miguel did not cry out for you in vain. He saw what's coming. He felt the tremor in the spiritual realm. And that's why he asked to warn you. You can't imagine how much has already been freed. There were times when you thought that something just didn't work out, that certain meetings didn't happen, that plans were frustrated. But behind this was Miguel's hand at work, on my orders, cutting out traps before they became prisons. I protected you from people who would come to steal your peace. I kept you away from places that seemed promising, but that would destroy you. And even so, you insisted on following automatically, without realizing that the sky was acting around you. Today, I am speaking to you with complete clarity. Because I don't want to see you walking in circles anymore. You have been praying for answers, asking for signs, asking for direction. And here it is. This word is the sign. This word is the answer. This word is the dividing line between what was and what could become. But it will only have power if you listen to it with faith. If you open your heart and allow my voice to transform you from the inside out. Because the time for superficiality is over. Now it's time for depth. From roots of firmness. I know your struggles. I know how difficult it has been to keep your spirits up. I know the nights you lay down just asking for relief. But I also know how much you carry something precious. There are promises that have not yet been fulfilled because you have been distracted. There are doors that have not opened because your soul is not ready. And I don't open doors that can crush you. I open doors for those who are aligned, positioned, awakened. That's why I'm insisting on you now. Because I know you can do it. I know that inside you there is still faith. There is still love. There is still thirst. But I need you to respond. Stop pretending you're not listening. Stop postponing the inevitable. Stop covering up spiritual tiredness with empty activities. I am the God who sees you inside. Who is not impressed by appearances. That looks directly into the heart. And what I see now is a heart that needs to return to me. Not with guilt. But with delivery. Sincerely. Truly. Because while you fight alone, I have already placed angels around you. While you doubt, Miguel is already ready. While you hesitate, the whole sky awaits your decision. Don't be fooled. You can't fight this war with your logic. You cannot overcome it with your strength. Just with my presence. Only with my spirit. Only with my word alive within you. And to do that, you need to position yourself. You need to make your time something sacred. You need to learn to listen to my voice more than the distractions around you. Because time is passing, and I don't want to see you waste another season. You've already lost too much. You've already given in too much. He has already remained silent when he should have taken a stand. But now, I am calling you back to the center of purpose. Allow this word to burn within you. Allow it to go down deep. May it remind you of who you are. May she bring you back to the altar. Because that's where everything starts again. It is there that plans are reborn. That's where the enemy loses its strength. When you kneel before me, hell shakes. When you give me your time, your mind, your heart, I respond with direction, protection, and transformation. And if at this moment something inside you is breaking, it is because I am already acting. Don't resist. Don't ignore it. Just say, "Here I am, Lord. I return. I surrender. I choose your will above mine." Because this choice, now, changes everything. If this word touched your heart, like this video and subscribe to the channel. This way you continue to receive everything I still have to reveal to you. And help other lives to hear the same call that came to you today. You think you're just tired, but what's happening is much deeper. That feeling of heaviness that doesn't go away, the lack of direction that consumes you, the thoughts that surround you without logical explanation, all of these are signs that something invisible is moving. It's not your body that's failing. It is your spirit that is at war. And I no longer want to see you fighting without knowing what. What you've been feeling is no coincidence. It's not just stress, nor emotional exhaustion. It is the result of a battle that began in the invisible and has hit your emotions hard. The enemy has been throwing silent darts, trying to undermine your strength without you realizing the real origin of this weakness. He acts sneakily, infiltrates tiredness where there should be faith, confusion where there should be clarity, and discouragement where there was fire. And you, without realizing it, distance yourself from me, not out of rebellion, but out of exhaustion. That's why I'm calling you now, to open your spiritual eyes and make you see what's behind all of this. My son, my daughter, understand this at once: you are not weak. You are attacked because you are precious. Hell does not pursue those who are empty, it attacks those who carry something that can break structures. And you carry promises that the enemy fears. It carries authority that you have not yet fully understood. Carries a destiny that, if activated, will shake entire regions. That's why the days feel so heavy. That's why sleep hasn't been enough. That's why you wake up more tired than when you went to bed. It's not the body. It's the soul. And she is on alert, even if your mind still doesn't understand why. This war is real, even if you don't see it. It does not appear in diagnoses, but it is felt in the spirit. It's in the silence that oppresses you. It's in the doubts that arise suddenly. It's in the words you heard and that still echo inside you like arrows. It's in the comparisons that weaken you, in the pressures that paralyze you, in the old wounds that have not yet been fully healed. And until you recognize the spiritual level of the battle, you will continue trying to win it with the wrong weapons. I am showing you today where the focus of the war is, so that you stop blaming yourself for not being able to react. So that you understand that this is not just a difficult phase. It's a battlefield, and you need to be armed with my presence. Go back to praying even if you don't feel like it. Return to the word even if you don't understand everything. Return to worshiping even when everything in you wants to remain silent. Because these are the weapons that the enemy cannot resist. While you pray, the sky moves. As you cry out, I release angels around you. While you resist, I strengthen your foundations. You are not alone. Never was. But he has lived as if he were. You have been walking with a burden that is not yours. You've been trying to solve everything on your own, and this has only made you sink deeper. That's why I brought you here. To rip the blindfold from your eyes. To remind you that there is a spiritual dimension that needs your attention. That needs your positioning. Who needs your surrender? Because while you treat what is spiritual as natural, the enemy gains space. I didn't leave you vulnerable. I gave you weapons. I gave you discernment. I gave you a voice. But you have used all this outwards, not upwards. He's been talking to people, but not me. He has asked for advice, but not sought my direction. And that's why fatigue only increases. Because the source of your strength is here. In me. And if you don't reconnect to the source, you will continue trying to survive instead of moving forward with authority. But today, now, something changes. Because this word you are hearing is not just an explanation, it is an activation. It is my presence breaking through the fog, calling you back to the place of authority. To the place where voices fall silent, where arrows lose strength, where your spirit rises again. Don't fight with human weapons anymore. Rise up in faith. Strengthen your spirit with fasting, with words, with worship. And you will see how the shadows begin to dissipate. What tired you will begin to lose strength. What confused you will begin to align. What tied you down will begin to break. Because where I am, no prison remains intact. Where my voice enters, the lies are silent. Where my spirit dwells, there is freedom. And today I am here, inside you, around you, above you, saying, "Get up." Because this war will not destroy you. It will reveal you. You will mature. It will bring you even closer to who I called you to be. There are things that you are not seeing yet, but Miguel has already seen them. There are movements happening in the spiritual world that your natural eyes cannot perceive. While you think you are just going through another difficult phase, traps are being built with the appearance of opportunity. Connections are being formed to draw you away from me disguised as a blessing. Paths that seem safe were prepared to distract you, not to make you grow. And that's why Miguel is standing today. On alert. At war. In clamor. He's not just protecting you. He is begging. Because you realize that there is a distraction that is trying to envelop you little by little. He felt the weight of an onslaught that had not yet manifested itself in the natural, but that had already been released in the invisible. And as your guardian, as the one who has delivered you from traps before, he came before me and asked, "Lord, don't let your son fall into that trap. Don't let your daughter go astray by trusting too much in what seems good. Give them discernment. Open their eyes." And I heard. Because I know your heart. I know that, even though he is tired, he still wants to walk in my paths. I know that even though I am confused, there is still a desire to do what is right. And that's why I'm revealing to you what's behind this spiritual pressure. Because there are decisions you are about to make that will define the course of your next few years. There are doors that opened not because they were sent by me, but because they were forged to seduce you. And if you don't discern, you may end up being grateful for something that is actually taking you away from the purpose I designed with so much love. Not every proposal comes with light from heaven. Not every beautiful word carries truth. Not every company that praises you is sent to build you up. There are alliances that weaken you spiritually, even when they make you feel validated. And I need you to understand this now, before you enter into agreements that will cost you dearly. Because the enemy doesn't just act with direct attacks. He is subtle. He is strategic. He dresses as an angel of light, but comes to sow confusion, doubt and pride. My son, my daughter, Miguel has already intervened for you before. And I answered your cry. But now the choice needs to come from you. The decision to watch, to observe, to filter what enters your heart and your environment. Because there are voices around you that are trying to drown out mine. There are noises that disguise themselves as advice, but that take you away from the truth. There are people who seem trustworthy, but who have been positioned to drain your spiritual energy. And if you continue to ignore the small impressions that my spirit has given you, you may end up moving away from the route that I traced for your victory. I gave you sensitivity. I talk to you all the time. In the pauses, in the silences, in the restlessness you feel when something isn't right. But you have silenced this sensitivity with justifications. The signs that I lit have been extinguished. You have called exaggeration what is actually my zeal. And that's why Miguel is standing. Because he knows that your heart is still mine, but that your attention has been stolen. And if you don't regain focus, if you don't prioritize my voice again, these distractions can become prisons. I don't tell you this to scare you. I tell you to preserve yourself. Because I see ahead. Because I know the consequences that you cannot yet imagine. Because I love you too much to remain silent while you approach dangerous choices. And because, if you listen to my voice now, there is still time to avoid the trap, to cut the wrong ties, to avoid pain that doesn't need to happen. Heaven is standing for you. And Miguel, once again, is crying out with intensity. But your answer also needs to stand up. It's no longer possible to remain distracted. You can no longer leave the spirit speaking alone while your flesh makes decisions. I am here to align you again. To restore your clarity. To rekindle your discernment. And to tell you firmly, open your eyes. Analyze what surrounds you. Filter what looks like a blessing. And don't accept anything just because it shines. My will is perfect, but it requires vigilance. And whoever watches with me is protected. Walk guided. Stay strong. If this word woke you up, comment now, 7777. This is your sign that you understood the warning and decided to remain attentive to my voice. You asked for help. And I sent it. You prayed for direction. And I responded. You cried out for protection. And I released angels. But your eyes are still focused only on what is visible, and that's why you think nothing is happening. You are waiting for a signal that shines like lightning, while ignoring the details where I have hidden answers. You're searching for an audible response, but I've been speaking in silence. You're waiting for wide open doors, but I've been using processes to shape your path. The problem is not in the absence of my action. It's in the way you choose to see it. There is a spiritual reality around you that you have not yet fully accessed. There are movements happening right now in the invisible, in your favor. And if I opened your spiritual eyes at this moment, you would see the army that surrounds you, the fire that protects you, the decrees that have already been issued from my altar. But as in the time of Elisha, your natural eyes cannot understand what heaven has already released. Remember the servant who despaired when he saw the enemy army? He thought everything was lost. But Elisha prayed, "Lord, open his eyes that he may see." And at that moment, the young man saw the chariots of fire, the armed angels, the heavenly army. It's like that with you now. You are surrounded by more glory than you realize. It is protected by a cover that does not fail. But if you continue looking only logically, you'll think I'm silent. You will think you are alone. You will believe that nothing has changed. When, in fact, everything is already in motion. The sky has already positioned itself. Miguel is already ready. My promises have already been activated. But you need to align your perception with my reality. You keep asking for confirmation, but you don't recognize it when I send it. Keep asking for direction, but ignore the interruptions that I allow to free you. Keep praying for protection, but reject the limits I place to keep you safe. There are times when I keep you not by opening doors, but by closing them. In which I guide you not by speaking, but by silencing everything around. In which I bless you by pulling you out of places that seemed good, but would destroy you inside. I know you want to understand everything. But there are things that can only be understood after obedience. Faith always comes before explanation. Spiritual vision always demands renunciation of human logic. And that's why I'm insisting, open the eyes of the soul. Stop depending only on what you see. Begin to discern with the Spirit. Because the help you ask for has arrived. But if you keep waiting for it to come the way you imagine, you will reject the miracle while praying for it. There are people that I have placed at your side in response. But you don't trust. There are words that I have released for you, but you still doubt. There are opportunities that I have breathed into your life, but you keep waiting for something more comfortable. And all the while, frustration grows. Not because I'm not acting, but because your expectation is in the format, not in the essence. You expect me to manifest myself as before, but I am a creative God. I change the form, but I never fail to keep the promise. Therefore, today, I invite you to align your vision with mine. To stop looking for external signs while neglecting to move within. My spirit is active within you. If you quiet down, you will listen. If you surrender, you will realize. If you decide to trust, even without understanding, you will see clearly everything that is already happening. Because it's not that I'm distant. It's just that you're distracted. It's not that I'm not talking. It's just that other voices have drowned out mine. Help is not on the way. It has already been sent. But your heart needs to slow down. Your soul needs to be silent. Your faith needs to take control. And then, what seemed like silence, will reveal itself as direction. What seemed like delay, like protection. What seemed empty, like preparation. And when your eyes open, you will see that I was never absent. That I never left you alone. That everything was happening all the time, you weren't the one who saw it yet. If this word made you understand something that was hidden, share it with someone who also needs to open their eyes. Because there are many around you praying for help, but without realizing that it has already arrived. And your obedience can be the bridge that connects that response to their hearts. You keep asking for miracles, for answers, for breakups. And I want to give you all of this. But I need you to understand something essential. There are promises that are ready to be manifested, but that depend on your obedience to come down to earth. Prayer opens paths. Faith moves mountains. But obedience activates the fulfillment of what I have already released. Because it's not enough to ask, you have to respond. It's not enough to want, you have to decide. It's not enough to pray, you need to act according to what you asked for. My son, my daughter, I am not demanding perfection from you. Never been. I know your flaws, your limitations, your internal struggles. I see your fears, your doubts, your silent battles. But I also see your sincerity. And that's what matters most to me. Because it is not with your strength that you will accomplish what I have determined, it is with your surrender. And your true surrender begins when you obey even without understanding everything. When you say, yes, even with tears in your eyes. When you take the same tremendous step. I have already prepared the way. I've already aligned the resources. I've already positioned people. But I'm waiting for you to get up. Stop putting it off. Stop resisting my call. Because while you pray for change, you remain attached to structures that need to be left behind. While clamoring for new doors, he maintains old habits. While asking for direction, ignore the last command I ever gave you. And I cannot build the new on broken foundations. I need your real delivery. You think you are waiting on me, but often it is me who is waiting for you. Waiting for your step of faith. Waiting for your decision to cut what holds you back. Waiting for your position in the face of small things. Because obedience does not begin with great acts, but with small gestures of trust. When you stop feeding what weakens you. When you say no to what takes you away from my presence. When you go back to the secret even if you don't want to. When you act on my word, even if no one is watching. I move with power when I see a willing heart. I release the impossible when I see someone willing to give up control. Because what activates my favor is not human effort, it is spiritual obedience. You may be tired, but if you obey me, you will see the supernatural. You may be confused, but if you decide to walk by faith, you will see doors open where there was no way. You may be surrounded, but if you listen to me and follow my direction, I will make rivers spring up in the desert. You ask me, Lord, what is missing? And today I answer you, it remains to be decided. Action remains. You need to trust. It remains to take the step you have been avoiding. It remains to release what I have already asked for. Because heaven is ready. The reward has already been prepared. The blessing already has your name. But I need your answer. I need your surrender to be stronger than your fear. I need your yes to echo louder than your doubts. Son, daughter, your obedience changes destinies. It doesn't just change your path, it changes generations. Change your home, your history, your legacy. Because when a son of mine obeys, hell shakes. When someone positions themselves in holiness, the entire environment is transformed. And I didn't call you to live half-heartedly. I called you to break up. To rule with authority. To manifest my glory where there was darkness before. But it all starts with a decision, to obey. Don't wait any longer for confirmations. They have already come. Don't hide behind excuses anymore. They only slow you down. Today is the day to activate what is stopped. Today is the day to unlock what was held back. And this happens when your faith turns into attitude. When your prayer turns into movement. When your expectation turns into practical obedience. If this word confirmed what your spirit was already feeling, like this video and subscribe to the channel. This is your way of staying connected to what heaven is releasing, and also of taking this word to more lives that need to make the same decision you are making now. Nothing you do out of love for me goes unnoticed. No resignation, no silence, no hidden tears. Everything you have done to remain faithful is being seen and recorded before my throne. And if you could see what moves in the sky every time you choose to obey me, even when no one is looking, you would never again doubt the strength of your silent choices. Miguel isn't just fighting for you. He is crying out. Crying out because you've seen the impact you can make if you stick with it. Because he knows what's at stake. He knows the plans that the enemy has designed to try to silence you, to try to distract you, to try to steal your essence. And yet, he has also seen you resist. Even though you were tired, you didn't give up. Even though you were scared, you didn't turn back. Even with doubts, you still believe. And that perseverance has power. My son, my daughter, hell is afraid of you. Not because of what you show to others, but because of what you carry within yourself. The enemy fears your faithfulness. He trembles at your persistence. Because he hoped you had given up a long time ago. He launched arrows at your mind, set emotional traps, tried to isolate you spiritually. And yet, you remained. Still, you reached out to me. Still, you didn't let go of your faith. And that's why Miguel begs. Not so that I help you, because I am already with you, but so that you continue, so that you don't stop now, so that you see what is yet to come. I didn't create you to fall halfway. I formed you to win. To resist. To be a living testimony of what I can do with someone who chooses to obey me, even when everything seems contrary. And today, I come to reaffirm, your loyalty is being rewarded. Even if you don't see it right away, there are seeds that are about to bloom. And these are not ordinary seeds. They are seeds of ancient promises, of sincere prayers, of nights where only I heard you. And now it's time to start harvesting what was watered with faith. Miguel pleads, not because you are weak, but because you are close to something great. And the closer you get, the more hell tries to confuse you. He wants to make you think that everything is at a standstill, that nothing is happening, that your effort is not worth it. But I tell you, everything is being aligned. Everything is moving at the exact pace of my will. There are connections being prepared. There are doors being adjusted. There are scenes being cleaned. Because when I decide to act, nothing can stop it. You can't imagine how many battles have been won without you even realizing it. Situations that could destroy you have been diverted. Words that were intended to hurt you were silenced. Relationships that would drive you away have been broken. And all this because you chose to trust. Because you chose to wait. Because you chose to stand firm, even without recognition, even without explanation. This has more weight than you might think. I honor those who honor me. I exalt those who seek me in secret. I reward those who say, yes, when everything screams, not worth it. And that's why what's coming into your life won't be something ordinary. It will be an accumulated response. Justice will be released. It will be a visible fulfillment of what was built in silence. I don't forget anything. And I tell you with certainty, your story will glorify my name. And the enemy who tried to stop you will watch from afar what I will do through you. Son, daughter, carry on. Don't slow down. Do not negotiate your obedience. Don't allow haste to steal the perfection of what I'm preparing. There are things that are only released to those who persevere until the end. And you are closer than you think. I have already ordered deliverances. I have already positioned angels. I have already declared blessings. And Miguel, my warrior, continues to cry out because he knows that what is about to happen in your life will impact far beyond you. This is not the end. It's the turning point. What seemed like delay was maturity. What seemed like silence was construction. And what seemed small, I will transform into a great testimony. There is no plea from Miguel that returns empty. And there is no loyalty from you that goes unanswered. I am the Lord who sees, who hears, who acts. And today, I declare about you, your obedience will be celebrated publicly, because it was cultivated in intimacy. And nothing, absolutely nothing, will stop what I have already started. You have been asking for a new time, but you still hold on to what needs to be let go. You have been crying out for change, but you hesitate when I call you to let go. You have dreamed of open doors, but you resist closing those that no longer lead you to where I lead you. And today, with love and firmness, I tell you, surrender is the key. The new one I prepared for you does not fit into the old structures. And as long as you insist on holding on to what should have already been left, you will prevent the promises from being fully manifested. My son, my daughter, I'm not asking you to understand everything, I'm asking you to trust. Because I see what you don't see. I know the developments that have not yet arrived. And I know what's behind what you consider safe. There are situations that you call stability, but that have prevented you from growing. There are bonds that you insist on keeping for fear of losing, but that are draining your soul. And there are habits that bring you momentary relief, but that take you away from my purpose. The pain of letting go is real, but the death of your purpose would be much more painful. I'm not asking you to let go on a whim, but for protection. Because there are things that seem good in your eyes, but that carry hidden delays. And I am the God who watches over the seed I placed inside you. That which is still in formation, which has not yet blossomed, but which already carries a glorious destiny. And that's why, before taking you to the new, I need to align your delivery. Because I can't release what I prepared while you refuse to let go of what no longer serves you. I know there are memories, expectations, even people involved. I see how your heart is divided between what you dream of and what should have already ended. But I want to remind you, I am the one who makes all things new. I am your beginning, your middle, and your end. And nothing I take from your life is to punish you. It's to preserve you. Nothing that I close is loss. It's preparation. Nothing I leave behind is meaningless. Because everything, absolutely everything, I use to lead you to the center of my will. You are not going backwards. It is being pruned. And every pruning hurts, but it also announces that there are fruits on the way. What seemed like retreat is repositioning. What seemed like loneliness is strategic separation. I took you from places and kept you away from people not because you didn't deserve to be there, but because your growth would bother those who weren't ready to accompany you yet. And now, if you trust and surrender completely, you will see doors opening that no human effort could unlock. Surrender is more than pretty words. It's a practical decision. It's choosing to trust even without understanding. It's letting go of what hurts, even when it still seems necessary. It's saying yes to my voice even when the scenario says, wait a little longer. And if you do this, if today you truly surrender, I promise, what once seemed like loss will turn out to be deliverance. And what you thought you couldn't survive without will become a testimony of how enough I am. The new one is ready. But I cannot release promises into divided hearts. I need wholeness. I need your obedience with dedication. Because when you let go of what I didn't ask for, you lose. But when you release what I have already asked for, you receive something much greater. What I have for you does not fit into shallow relationships, into destructive habits, into comfort zones. What I have for you requires courage. And today, I am breathing that courage into your soul. Decide to trust me more than your feelings. Decide to follow my direction more than your emotions. For I am not a man to lie, nor a son of man to promise and not fulfill. I said I would. I said I would take care of it. I said I would be with you. And I am. Every step you take, I follow. Every tear of yours, I collect. Every decision to obey, I honor. If this word touched you, enjoy this video as a sign of surrender and faith. Each gesture of response activates something in the sky, and this simple action could be the beginning of the new thing you've been waiting for. There are people around you who were not sent by me. They walk with you, they speak with affection, they are present, but they are not aligned with what I have for your life. They do not carry the fear that I demand. They don't propel you to the altar. On the contrary, they slowly push you away. They extinguish your flame with empty conversations, question your faith with subtle words, weaken your conviction with their own insecurities. And you, out of affection, out of habit or out of fear of loneliness, have allowed them to remain. But today I come to warn you, not all company is a blessing. Not all presence is coverage. Not all affinity is a divine connection. My son, my daughter, it is not a lack of love to set limits. It is not judgment to discern who can walk with you. You were not called to please everyone, but to fulfill a purpose. And there are people who, no matter how trustworthy they seem to you, were placed at your side with the mission of delaying what I want to accelerate. They are bonds that confuse you, friendships that consume your energy, advice that seems good, but does not come from my spirit. And if you don't discern this now, you may end up losing yourself for me trying to keep who I am asking you to leave. Remember Adam? He did not fall by facing the enemy alone, but by listening to the wrong person at the decisive moment. Remember Samson? It wasn't an army that defeated him, it was a poorly made alliance, a relationship that he insisted on maintaining despite my warnings. And Solomon? So wise, so full of my presence, but he turned away from me by allowing wrong influences to occupy a space that should be sacred. I don't want you to repeat the same mistakes. I don't want to see your heart corrupted by coexistence with those who don't honor my name. Have you ever felt like something is wrong? Have you noticed how your search for me weakens when you are around certain people? Have you noticed that there are bonds that make you more anxious, more insecure, more divided? And yet, he insists on maintaining them, perhaps hoping that they will change, perhaps for fear of appearing radical. But today I tell you, solitude with purpose is better than a company that takes you away from my will. I didn't call you to live surrounded by influences that keep you in the shallows. I called you to dive deep, to walk in holiness, to represent myself with integrity. You need to watch not only what you listen to, but also who listens with you. Not only what you say, but who you share your intimacy with. Because there are words that contaminate. There are gestures that weaken. There are environments that drain your faith. And if you continue to open your heart to those who were not called to build you, you will begin to justify what you previously called sin. You will begin to tolerate what used to hurt you. You will begin to get used to an environment that distances you from me. But I love you too much to allow this without warning you. I'm giving you discernment. I am showing you, person by person, who was sent by me and who just arrived. I am blowing signs, discomforts, perceptions upon your spirit. And if you listen to me, you will realize that I have been trying to free you from some alliances for a long time. That I have already interrupted connections. That I have already taken you out of cycles that you insist on returning to. Because I am a jealous God. Because your call is precious. And because there are things that I want to do in your life that cannot happen while certain bonds remain active. Son, daughter, I'm not asking you to hate anyone. I'm asking you to discern. To protect what I planted in you. To shield your heart from the wrong seeds. And to make space for the connections that I have already prepared. Yes, there are new people on the way. People who will build you up, who will pray with you, who will celebrate your search for me. But for them to enter, others need to leave. For alignment to occur, cutting is necessary. For the new to begin, the old must be ended. If this word spoke to you, share it with someone who also needs to discern who is by their side. Many lives have been weakened by bonds that seem good but silently erase faith. And your obedience in sharing can be the instrument of awakening that heaven wants to use today. You were not created to walk alone, but you were also not called to walk with anyone. I, the Lord, know the path I have traced for your life. I know the deserts you will still face, the valleys you will need to cross, the peaks you are about to climb. And so, as a father who takes care of every detail, I have already prepared connections aligned with what is to come. People who will not only be by your side, but who will walk in the same direction. People who carry the same spirit, who honor my presence, who will add to your purpose, not compete with it. My son, my daughter, you have held on to old relationships as if your advancement depended on them. But today I tell you, there are bonds that served one time, but that have no place in the next. There are people who were important, but who have already fulfilled their role. And if you keep insisting on taking everyone with you, you'll be late. You will overload yourself. You will walk in circles, trying to drag hearts that are not willing to go where I am taking you. Not everyone can climb with you. Not everyone can bear the weight of the anointing I poured out on you. Not everyone will understand the zeal I'm asking of you. And it's okay. Because I am the God who removes, but I am also the God who adds. I don't leave empty spaces. Where there is obedience, there will always be provision. And the provision for your heart has also been released. There are friendships prepared. There are spiritual advisors ready to surround you. There are people who will help you grow, to flourish, to remain firm when the winds blow hard. You no longer need to beg for attention from those who don't value you. You don't need to shut up to avoid disturbing them. You don't need to hide your faith to be accepted. I am freeing you from this burden. I'm clearing your route. I am teaching you that true intimacy is that which brings you closer to me, not that which takes you away. What genuine love is the one that confronts you in love, that prays for you, that celebrates your obedience, and not that laughs when your faith grows cold. And these people, I have already placed on the path. But for them to arrive, you need to make space. I know letting go is not easy. But I also know what I am preparing. And if you knew the scale of what was coming, you wouldn't hesitate to release what should have already been delivered. The new is not just a time, it is an environment. And for you to experience this fully, every area of your life needs to be aligned, including your connections. Because whoever walks with you influences your rhythm, your vision, your spiritual sensitivity. And I will not allow what I am revealing to you to be suffocated by misaligned voices. Trust me. I don't make a mistake in separating. I don't make a mistake when I walk away. When I remove someone, it's because I've already seen ahead. When I end a connection, it's because I'm protecting your heart. And when I silence certain bonds, it's because I'm releasing others. There are people who will listen to you like no one else has. Who will pray with you like no one else has prayed. Who will dream alongside you without envying your steps. These people are not perfect, but they are gifts from me. And they're on their way. So don't resist the movement I'm making. Do not try to mend what I have already closed. Don't blame yourself for having to move on. What I'm building is much bigger. And those who walk with you in this new time will be aligned, mature, consecrated. You will no longer need to explain your thirst for me. You will no longer need to justify your separation. They will understand. They will walk alongside you with the same zeal. And where there is agreement, there will be progress. Where there is unity, there will be glory. Where there is covenant in my spirit, there will be growth and stability. Now it's time to trust my driving. To open your heart to the new cycle. To let go of what no longer takes you closer to the altar. And to allow me to bring about the right relationships, at the right time, for the right purpose. Not because you need to, but because I chose to share something greater with you, and for that, you cannot be surrounded by those who do not honor what they carry. If this word touched you, subscribe to this channel now. This is where I will continue talking to you, aligning your vision and connecting your heart with everything I have already released about you. You already know what you need to do. There is no lack of revelation, no lack of direction. My spirit has already shown you. I have already whispered within you. I have already given you signs. I have already interrupted your paths. I have already taken away your peace when you tried to force what did not come from me. The truth is that your heart has already understood, your soul has already felt, your mind has already recognized. But until now, you have been hesitating. It has been postponed. It has silenced my voice to listen to the usual comfort. And today I come as a father, not to accuse you, but to awaken you once and for all. It's no longer about figuring out what needs to be done. It's about having the courage to do it. Because what is holding you back is not a lack of discernment, it is the fear of pain, of change, of renunciation. You know what you should cut out, you know what you need to leave behind, you know who you should no longer walk with, you know what has erased your spiritual sensitivity. But you keep delaying, as if time were on your side. As if the decision wasn't urgent. As if your excuses could sustain your call. But I tell you, the time is now. The window is open, and whoever decides to move forward will see the fulfillment of what I have prepared. I'm already acting. I've already moved parts. I have already released resources. I have already positioned connections. I have already declared promises. But there are limits you need to impose. There are cuts that only you can make. There are doors that only you can close. Because I gave you free will, and with it, spiritual authority. And if you don't take a stand, you will continue to be stuck between what was and what could be. You will continue to feel the weight of what no longer flows, carrying bonds that do not support your next season. My son, my daughter, I have spoken to you in cycles. I've been reminding you again of what needs to be resolved. I have allowed discomfort so that you realize that the time to remain where you are has passed. But you became accustomed to the idea of survival when I called you to advance in victory. You settled in control when I called you to depend on my direction. And now, if you want to enter into all that is to come, you must choose. Not between alternatives, but between yourself and my will. I will not leave you an orphan in the decision. I'm with you in every detail. Strengthening your spirit, clearing your vision, blowing over your mind. But the choice will still be yours. Either you continue trying to keep what is already falling apart, or you trust that what is falling is because I myself am allowing it to end. The new cannot manifest itself where the old still rules. And as long as you insist on protecting what should have already been delivered, you will prevent heaven from completing the work. Yes, it is uncomfortable to cut. But I guarantee you, it is liberating. Because what comes after your obedience is not empty, it is harvest. What appears after your decision is not loneliness, it is relief. When you close a door in faithfulness, I open windows of revelation. When you say no for the love of my purpose, I say yes to promises that were withheld. When you stop negotiating with what pulls you back, I push you to the place of honor that I have prepared. Don't let yourself be fooled by fear. Fear will always try to convince you that the loss will be greater than the reward. But I am the God who returns with honor everything that is left out of obedience. I am the God who rewards each step of renunciation with glory. I am the God who transforms every no in the present into open doors in the future. And what I have for you is worth infinitely more than what you still try to preserve. You are at a decisive moment. And what will define your next level is not your strength, not your position, not your intelligence. It's your answer. How willing you are to obey me, even when it conflicts with your wishes. How much are you willing to walk with me, even if it costs some company? How much are you willing to give up control, to allow me to rule? Because whoever surrenders to me does not lose. Those who obey do not retreat. Whoever decides by my will always reaps what eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, and no mind has imagined. But whoever resists, whoever insists on negotiating, whoever walks with one foot in me and the other in the world will become lukewarm, unstable, vulnerable to the traps of time. Today I call you to decide. And do what you already know. Not tomorrow. Not after one more confirmation. But now. Because your obedience at this very moment can activate the response you have been waiting for. It can break the barrier that has held you back so much. It could be the beginning of the greatest new beginning of your life. And if you feel that this word is burning in your spirit, it is because it is past time to act. I am here. Waiting for your step. Tracking your movement. And ready to do infinitely more than you thought, from the moment you do what you already know must be done. Today I want you to know something that changes everything. your name was mentioned at the altar. Yes, among so many sounds, cries and voices that rise to the sky every day, your name echoed before me with authority. Not as just any request, not as a distant memory, but as a cry full of purpose. Thy soul was pronounced with eternal intent. Your story was brought before me urgently. And this changes absolutely everything in the spiritual world. Every time you prayed without knowing if I was listening, I was. Every tear that fell on the pillow, without human witness, was collected by my spirit. Every moment you chose silence over revenge, prayer over reaction, surrender over pride, all of it rose like incense to my throne. You thought no one saw, that nothing happened. But while you thought you were just surviving, the sky was moving in your favor. My son, my daughter, I never ignored you. I never stopped seeing your effort. I never forgot what you did out of love for me, even when no one recognized it. And today I come to remind you that, when heaven pronounces someone's name, hell trembles. Because this mention activates coverage. Activates angels. Activates deliverances. Activates promises that were dormant. When your name was mentioned, decrees were released. Strategies were destroyed. Doors have been repositioned. Because I do not leave unanswered those who remain faithful even in secret. You have been living through days where everything seems to be spinning out of control. Moments when it seems like nothing changes, that no prayer is effective, that everything around you is still. But today I come to reveal to you, everything is in motion, even if you don't realize it. Because when I speak the name of one of my children at the altar, there is no opposing force that can resist. It's like activating a divine intervention network. And that's what's happening now. That's why the weight increased. That's why the attack became more subtle. Because something is about to break. It wasn't your emotion that brought that word to you. It was heaven. I brought you here. I interrupted your day. I made you stop and listen. Because this is the time I need you to know, you are not going unnoticed. You are marked. It's saved. It is at the center of my attention. And even though people have forgotten you, I never forgot. Even if they tried to turn off your light, I myself rekindle it. Because your identity was not given by men. It was written by me. And everything I write remains. Your name is not just a sequence of letters. It's a mission. It is a celestial seed loaded with destiny. And when I pronounced it at the altar, it was because the time had arrived. The time to act. Time to move. The time to do what eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. But for that, I need you to continue. I need you not to back down now. May you not abandon your promise when you are so close to manifestation. I know you feel fragile. But your fragility does not nullify my loyalty. I know you've thought about giving up. But even so, he chose to stay. And that choice is worth more than you imagine. She is like a silent scream that tears the sky. And today I answer that cry with a living word. Your name is on my altar. Your cause is in my hands. Your journey is not in vain. Nothing you lived was a waste. Not even the mistakes. Because everything is being redeemed. And when I redeem, I restore with honor. When I restore, I multiply. When I multiply, I send you beyond what you planned. But it all starts with this recognition: I see you. I know you. And yes, I called you by name. If this word spoke to you, comment now, my name is on the altar. Because this is your response of faith before heaven, and when you recognize that you have been remembered, the spiritual world aligns with what I have already determined for you. You still can't see everything, but I do. And what I see is great. I'm preparing you for something that goes far beyond what you imagined. Nothing you lived was wasted. Not the good days, not the silent days, not the falls that left you without strength. Everything was an instrument in my hands to shape your character, strengthen your faith and tune your spiritual sensitivity. I know you completely, and that's why I know exactly what you needed to allow, what I needed to allow to hurt, so that you could mature enough to carry what's to come. You asked why it took so long. And I answer you now, because I love you too much to give you something that you were not yet ready to sustain. Because the promises I released into your life require internal structure, emotional maturity, and total dependence on me. And before taking you to them, I needed to build this within you. I needed to teach you to hear my voice in the silence. Trusting me in the desert. Standing firm when everything around you told you to give up. My son, my daughter, I saw when you thought about stopping. I was there when your heart cried out, Lord, I don't understand what's happening. I listened when no one else listened to you. I wiped your tears even when you thought you were crying alone. And today I come to tell you, every detail, every process, every pain, every weight, was helping me position you. They were preparing you for what heaven is about to release. Your preparation was not for nothing. The battles were not without purpose. I was training you to carry something eternal. Something that will bless not only your life, but also others around you. There are people who will be touched by your story, by your transformation, by your loyalty in the midst of chaos. Because what I'm doing to you is bigger than yourself. It is prophetic. It's strategic. It's eternal. Now that you've come this far, don't go back. Now that your faith has been tested, keep trusting. Even if you don't see everything yet. Even if not everything is clear. Because the time of manifestation is closer than you think. And when it arrives, you will understand why I remained silent, why I pruned, why I delayed. You will understand that it was love all the time. If this word touched you, enjoy this video as an act of faith. Sometimes a simple gesture like this triggers something powerful in the sky, and aligns you even more with what I'm about to do. You came this far thinking it was over, but I tell you, this is the turning point. The exact moment when everything starts to change, even if it still seems the same in your eyes. Because while you were waiting for a sign, I was already acting. While you were crying out for help, I had already sent it. While you thought nothing was happening, the entire sky was moving in your favor. And now, the time of waiting begins to give way to the time of revelation. What you asked for in tears, what seemed too far away, what you thought you lost, I'm bringing it back. But not in the same way. I am restoring with glory, returning with purpose, releasing with power. Because what I do is not small. I don't answer halfway. When I decide to act, I do it in such a way that no one can deny that it was me. And that is what is about to happen, something that does not carry your strength, but my mark. My son, my daughter, this is the time when your faith needs to speak louder than your feelings. It is the time when your obedience needs to go ahead of your understanding. Because not everything will be explained, but everything will be aligned. I'm not calling you to understand every detail. I'm calling you to trust. Because when you trust, even without seeing, you free up space for me to act without restrictions. And where there is freedom for my spirit, there are miracles. Rise up in faith. Do not look back with regret, nor to the sides with fear. Look up, because that is where your help comes from. The aid that has already been released. The answer is already on the way. The door that has already started to open. Everything is in motion. And even if it still seems dark, remember, the dawn always rises in silence, without announcement, but with the certainty that the light comes after the night. What seemed like the end is the beginning. What you thought would break you is making you stronger. What the enemy tried to use to bring you down, I am using to lift you up. There is no wasted pain when placed in my hands. There is no wasted time when lived in obedience. And there is no human limit capable of preventing what I have already decreed over your life. Take a deep breath. This is just the beginning of something extraordinary. Breathe deeply, my daughter and son. I'm the one who brought you here. I rearranged everything so you could hear what you are going to hear, even if you believe you came by accident. Because your spirit can no longer be diverted and time is running out. This is just one of those occasions when heaven must step in. Something spiritual is going on, which is why I broke up your routine. Real, urgent, and deadly, yet being invisible to the naked sight. And you could lose more than you think if you disregard my warning. It's love, it's not hyperbole. It's zeal. It's cautious. I love you too much to be quiet while your spiritual life unravels into impetuous choices and diversions. This is something you have experienced. There is the sudden perplexity, the persistent fatigue, and the void that no diversion can satisfy. Son, it's war. Daughter, it's an invisible war. There is a battle going on for your faith, your purpose, and your thoughts. And I'm here for that reason. To wake you awake, not merely to console you. As the adversary places ambushes that appear to be advantageous, you are no longer able to sleep. What you don't see, I see. I made the decision to speak with you directly today. I'm not alone, either. You caused the sky to shift. The Archangel Michael, my warrior, approached me with tears in his eyes and his face bent. He arrived as an intercessor rather than a leader. He did not brandish his sword. He spoke louder. His fervor made my throne tremble as he begged for you. Sir, he said, your son is in danger. Your daughter is in danger of falling. Let me warn them. Let me protect them before it is too late. I heard it. I know who you are, so I listened. Because I am aware of every aspect of your heart, including the parts you attempt to conceal. Additionally, I am aware of the stakes. Hell follows you so subtly because you are carrying something heavy. You believe it's simply difficult days. This is simply fatigue. However, traps are now being laid. Disguised as beneficial chances, fresh relationships, and short-term respite. And you could get caught in a trap that will keep you away from me for a very long time if you keep ignoring the warning flags. And I can't let it happen. Since I cherish you. As you aren't one anymore. Because neither the worlds will nor the body gave birth to what is in your life. Born in heaven. I wrote it. And I'm here now to remind you of this before the wrong decisions put out the fire that remains. This calling is not new to you. I've been heard by you in silence, in texts, and in dreams. However, things are different this time. Because it's decisive now. Divine intervention is this term. It's no longer an invitation. A call. I'm urging you to become more spiritually aware. To identify the source of the suffering, uncertainty, and diversion. To realize that you are a target in a battle that is now raging. However, it is also safeguarded. It is also selected. It is reinforced by me as well. Do not believe that you are weak. The weight of the anointing you bear is reflected in how you feel. Empty vessels are not pursued by the enemy. If you support me, he worries about what you could do. Miguel is pleading because of this. Since he was aware of what lay ahead. And he is aware that it could be too late if you don't pick up my call right now. I'm not trying to force you. I'm releasing you. Many people beg for this opportunity but fail to take it. Now I'll give it to you. And I only ask that you give me your whole attention. I hope it doesn't make you heartless. This word, which comes directly from my altar to your heart, should not be taken lightly. Since something is about to occur. And how you respond will determine whether you fail or succeed, whether you stay the same or achieve your goals. Now comment, I decide to wake up. Because something in heaven is triggered by that straightforward, honest, and prompt reaction. It demonstrates that you have heard, comprehended, and will no longer disregard this call. The extent of what is going on at the moment is still beyond your comprehension. However, I want you to comprehend. I want you to experience the intensity of the sky above you and the weight of my presence. You weren't merely carried here by any movement. It was truly remarkable. Because something that doesn't often happen happened today. One of my best celestial soldiers, the one I nurtured for endless wars, stood before me. Miguel did not arrive as a war leader or brandishing a weapon. He arrived with teary eyes and a tilted face. He came with sympathy for your life and a burning heart. His comments were fervent entreaties rather than war yells. Lord, your daughter is lost. Your son is surrounded. Something approaches, something that can lead them astray, something that can extinguish the flame of purpose. Let me warn them. Let me fight once again for them. He said to me in a voice that broke, and that, my son, my daughter, very much touched my heart. Because I had everlasting purposes when I created you. I have plans for you that are much bigger than you can fathom. And I felt a sudden movement as I saw Miguel, the guardian I had repeatedly dispatched to keep your steps safe, come to me with this scream. Because I never fail to respond to those who call out for the truth. I'm speaking to you now for that reason. The reason I want to protect you is not to frighten you. Because something powerful is coming. Something that will call for guts, positioning, and insight. And before this assault comes too near, I urge you to wake up. It's not meant to incite terror. Its purpose is to create surveillance. It's not meant to immobilize you. It's to get you going. Because it's not just anyone who causes the sky to move in this way. It's because a really precious thing is in danger. And you are that something. The number of times I dispatched Miguel to your side is unimaginable. He was the one who stopped the routes just as you were ready to visit areas that would kill your soul. He was the one who severed connections, blocked access, and thwarted partnerships when those with malicious purpose came near. He was the one who gave you spiritual wings so that your soul wouldn't be crushed when you sobbed in private and no one else could see how empty you were. On certain evenings, he kept watch over you. There were times when he was sent to guard your soul even when your body was preoccupied. And now he screams once more. He lets out a cry as he recognizes what is coming. Because he noticed your vulnerability and the way your eyes are obscured by distractions, anxieties, and accumulated exhaustion. He reprimanded you without asking permission. He asked to alert you. To make you see. To make you feel the gravity of the situation. I also heard. I adore you, which is why I listened. Pay attention because you possess an enduring worth that only you can completely recognize. You've discovered that the days are too long and that everything feels harder, slower, and more exhausting. In actuality, though, you are being observed. The adversary has been researching your vulnerabilities in order to time the deployment of a covert trap. He will not come yelling. He'll bring promises. Shortcuts will be included. He'll bring you something that seems nice, but it has the potential to remove you from my center of affection. Miguel is pleading because of this. And for that reason, I speak. Because I don't want you to deviate from the plan I made for you. You must realize that your life is not typical. That there is spiritual significance to your existence. Perhaps there is a prophetic element to your narrative. The skies open when you choose to side with me. You and your entire household are freed when you choose to follow my instructions. The opponent is frightened by that. Distracted people don't frighten him. However, when someone awakens spiritually, he becomes depressed. Heaven is currently beckoning you to awaken. So pay close attention. Don't disregard your feelings. This sensation of something occurring, the pressure in the chest, and the burning in the soul are all spiritual. The fact that this word is for you is confirmed by my spirit. I'm here. Miguel is in place. The sky is alert. But you have to decide what to do next. Will you continue to move as though nothing had occurred? Or are you going to realize that you are being called to something greater? Tell someone who needs to wake up if this word resonated with you. Because you chose to be a channel, certain people will only hear my voice. Pay close attention, my daughter and son. There is not much time left. It isn't dramatization or a metaphor. It's true. The minutes that go by now are never recovered. You sow a seed in the soil of eternity every second. And the reason I brought you here is that your spiritual future may be altered by the choice you make now. It's not only a sentimental or transient decision. It has to do with where your soul will be in the future. This relates to the course you will take after reading this message. Miguel's call for you wasn't in vain. He could see it coming. He sensed the shuddering in the spiritual world. And for that reason, he asked to alert you. The amount that has already been released is unimaginable. There were moments when you felt that plans were thwarted, meetings didn't happen, or something just didn't work out. On my orders, Miguel was working behind this, removing traps before they turned into prisoners. I kept you safe from those who would want to disturb your tranquility. I kept you away from places that would ruin you yet seemed promising. You continued to follow instinctively despite the fact that you were unaware of how the sky was changing around you. I am communicating to you in perfect clarity today. Because I'm tired of seeing you go around in circles. You have been seeking for guidance, signs, and answers in your prayers. And it's right here. The symbol is this word. The answer is this word. This term serves as the boundary between the past and the future. But only if you listen to it with trust will it have any force. If you let my speech change you from the inside out and open your heart. Because superficiality is no longer an option. It's time for some depth now. From the ground up. Of firmness. I am aware of your difficulties. I am aware of the challenges you have had in maintaining your positive attitude. I am aware of the evenings you spend lying down and pleading for help. However, I am also aware of how highly you value something. Because you have been preoccupied, several commitments have not yet been kept. Because your soul isn't ready, certain doors haven't opened. I also avoid opening doors that may break you. For those who are positioned, awakened, and aligned, I open doors. I am now demanding on you because of this. Therefore I'm confident you can succeed. I am aware that you still have trust in yourself. Love still exists. Thirst is still present. But you must answer me. Quit acting as though you're not paying attention. Give up putting off the inevitable. Give up using pointless hobbies to mask spiritual exhaustion. The God who sees you from within is me. Who doesn't find appearances impressive. You can see right into the heart with it. And now I see a heart that must come back to me. Not while feeling guilty. However, upon delivery. Regards. Really. Because I have already surrounded you with angels while you battle alone. Miguel is already prepared while you are unsure. The entire world is waiting for your choice while you are undecided. Don't fall for it. Your reasoning won't win this battle. Your strength is insufficient to defeat it. Simply by my being here. With my spirit only. Only when you are living with my word. And you have to position yourself to accomplish that. You must turn your time into a precious thing. You must learn to pay more attention to my speech than to the outside noise. Because I don't want to see you squander another season, and time is running out. You've lost too much already. Too much has already been conceded. When he ought to have spoken out, he has already stayed mute. I'm calling you back to the core of purpose now, though. Let this word burn within of you. Let it descend deeply. I hope it helps you remember who you are. I hope she returns you to the altar. Because everything begins again there. Plans are resurrected there. The enemy's power diminishes there. Hell trembles as you bow down before me. I react with guidance, protection, and transformation when you offer me your time, thoughts, and emotions. And if something is shattering inside of you right now, it's because I've already started acting. Avoid resistance. Don't disregard it. This decision suddenly alters everything, so just say, "Here I am, Lord. I return. I surrender. I choose your will above mine." Please like this video and subscribe to the channel if this word resonated with you. In this manner, you keep getting all of the information I still need to provide you. And assist others in hearing the same call that you received today. You believe that you are just exhausted, but there is much more going on. Anything unseen is moving if you have a persistent sense of weight, a lack of direction that absorbs you, or ideas that surround you but have no logical explanation. Your body isn't malfunctioning. Your spirit is engaged in combat. And I don't want to see you fight for no apparent reason anymore. It's no accident that you've been feeling this way. It's more than simply emotional weariness or stress. It is the outcome of an emotional conflict that started in the unseen. Without you recognizing the true source of this weakness, the enemy has been attempting to weaken you with quiet darts. Acting cunningly, he infiltrates uncertainty where clarity should be found, discouragement where fire was present, and fatigue where faith should be found. And you unknowingly turn away from me, not because you're rebelling, but because you're tired. I'm calling you today in order to help you realize the spiritual meaning underlying everything. My daughter and son, you realize right away that you are strong. Because you are valuable, you are attacked. Hell strikes those who have anything that can destroy structures, not those who are empty. Additionally, the opponent is afraid of the promises you bring. It has authority that you don't completely comprehend yet. Carries a destiny that has the power to tremble whole areas if it is triggered. The days feel so heavy because of this. Sleep hasn't been sufficient because of this. You wake up feeling more exhausted than when you went to bed because of this. The body isn't it. It's the soul. And even if you're still not sure why, she is on guard. You may not see it, but this conflict is real. Although it is sensed in the spirit, it does not show up in diagnosis. You are oppressed by the stillness. It's in the unexpected doubts that surface. It's in the words you heard, which continue to reverberate like arrows within you. It's in the old scars that haven't completely healed, in the pressures that immobilize you, and in the comparisons that weaken you. And you will keep attempting to win the war with the wrong weapons until you realize how spiritual it is. Today, I'm going to show you where the conflict is concentrated. That you don't blame yourself for your inability to respond. In order for you to realize that this is more than simply a challenging time. It's a battlefield, and my presence is what you need. Even if you don't feel like praying, resume. Even if you don't fully comprehend, go back to the Word. Even when your entire being wants to be quiet, go back to praising. Because the opponent is powerless to stop these weapons. The sky shifts while you pray. I release angels around you while you scream. I fortify your foundations as you resist. You're not by yourself. It was never. He has, nonetheless, lived as though he were. You have been carrying an unjustified load. Since you've been attempting to handle everything by yourself, this has just caused you to become more depressed. I invited you here for that reason. To tear the blindfold away from you. To serve as a reminder that there is a spiritual aspect that requires your focus. You must place yourself there. Who needs your surrender? Because you give the enemy more room when you regard the spiritual as normal. You weren't left exposed by me. I provided you with weapons. I endowed you with wisdom. You now have a voice thanks to me. However, you have applied all of this downward rather than upward. He has been conversing with others, but not with me. He has not sought my guidance, but he has asked for advice. And for that reason, weariness just becomes worse. Because here is where your power comes from. Within myself. Additionally, you will keep attempting to survive rather than advance with authority if you don't get back in touch with the source. However, something has changed as of today. Because the word you are hearing is an activation rather than merely an explanation. I'm calling you back to the position of power by piercing the mists with my presence. To the point where arrows lose their power, voices become quiet, and your soul rises once more. Stop using human weapons in combat. Get up and have faith. Use worship, words, and fasting to fortify your spirit. And you'll see that the shadows start to fade. You will start to lose strength due to fatigue. What perplexed you will start to make sense. What's holding you down will start to come loose. Because there are no undamaged prisons where I am. The falsehoods are mute when my voice comes in. Freedom exists where my spirit resides. And I'm here today, above you, inside you, and surrounding you, telling you to get up. Because you will not be destroyed by this conflict. It'll show you. You'll grow up. It will help you become even more of the person I called you to be. Miguel has already seen some things that you haven't yet seen. The spiritual realm is undergoing changes that are invisible to the naked sight. Traps are being set up with the appearance of opportunity while you believe you are simply passing through another challenging stage. Under the idea of a blessing, connections are being made to entice you away from me. Safe-seeming paths were set up to divert your attention rather than to help you develop. Miguel is standing today for that reason. Alert. During a conflict. In a flurry. He's not only keeping you safe. He's pleading. Because you were aware that a distraction was gradually attempting to engulf you. He was burdened by an assault that had already been discharged in the invisible but had not yet materialized in the natural. He came before me as your guardian and the one who has saved you from traps in the past. He said, Lord, don't let your son fall into that trap. Don't let your daughter go astray by trusting too much in what seems good. Give them discernment. Open their eyes. I also heard. Since I am aware of your heart. I am aware that despite his fatigue, he still wishes to follow my footsteps. I am aware that despite my confusion, there is still a desire to act morally. I'm telling you what's causing this spiritual strain because of this. Because the choices you are going to make will determine how your life unfolds over the coming years. There are doors that opened because they were made to entice you, not because I sent them. Furthermore, if you lack discernment, you can find yourself feeling thankful for something that is actually detracting from the goal I lovingly created for you. Not all proposals have divine approval. Truth is not always contained in beautiful words. Not every business that compliments you was sent to boost your self-esteem. Even when an alliance gives you a sense of validation, it might really damage you spiritually. And before you sign contracts that will cost you a lot of money, you must realize this. Because direct strikes aren't the only way the opponent acts. He is nuanced. He has a strategic approach. He comes to sow doubt, confusion, and pride while posing as a light-filled angel. Miguel, my daughter and son, has already stepped in to help you. And I responded to your cries. Now, though, you must make the decision. The choice to observe, to watch, to filter what gets into your surroundings and into your heart. Because my voice is being drowned out by others around you. There are sounds that pass for counsel but really divert you from reality. Some people have been set up to drain your spiritual vitality, even if they appear trustworthy. And you can wind up straying from the path I created for your triumph if you keep ignoring the little clues my spirit has given you. I made you sensitive. I speak with you frequently. In the silences, the pauses, the uneasiness you get when things isn't quite right. However, you have used excuses to stifle this sensitivity. I have quenched the signs that I ignited. You have characterized my zeal as exaggerated. Miguel is standing for this reason. Because he is aware that while your attention has been taken, your heart is still mine. And these diversions may turn into prisons if you don't get back on track and give my voice priority once more. I don't say anything to frighten you. Preserve yourself, I say. Since I have foresight. Because I am aware of the repercussions that you are not yet able to comprehend. Because I care too much about you to be quiet as you make risky decisions. Additionally, there is still time to avoid the trap, break bad relationships, and save unnecessary suffering if you pay attention to what I have to say right now. Heaven is on your side. And Miguel is yelling with ferocity once more. However, your response must also be compelling. Distraction can no longer be maintained. You can no longer let your body make choices while the spirit speaks for itself. I'm here to put you back in alignment. To get your mind back in order. To revive your sense of judgment. I'll say it again, open your eyes. Examine your surroundings. What appears to be a blessing should be filtered. Additionally, don't believe anything simply because it seems good. My will is flawless, but it has to be watched carefully. And everybody who watches with me is safe. Walk with a guide. Remain resilient. Comment right now if this word awakened you up. 7777. This indicates that you took the warning seriously and chose to pay attention to what I was saying. You requested assistance. I also mailed it. You prayed for guidance. And I answered. You screamed for safety. Angels were freed by me. However, you continue to see just what is in front of your eyes, which is why you believe nothing is occurring. You are neglecting the specifics where I have concealed solutions in order to wait for a signal that glows like lightning. I've been talking silently, but you're looking for an audible answer. I've been utilizing procedures to mold your path, but you're waiting for doors to open. Absence of my activity is not the issue. It depends on how you want to interpret it. You haven't fully grasped the spiritual world that surrounds you yet. Right now, things that are invisible are moving in your favor. And you would see the army that envelopes you, the fire that guards you, and the decrees that have already been issued from my altar if I were to open your spiritual eyes right now. However, just like in Elisha's day, what heaven has already delivered is beyond the reach of your natural eyes. Do you recall the servant's anguish at seeing the army of the enemy? He believed that everything was gone. However, Elisha prayed, "Lord, open his eyes that he may see." The young man then saw the celestial army, the armed angels, and the chariots of fire. That's how it is with you now. You don't understand how much grandeur surrounds you. It is shielded by an infallible cover. But you'll assume I'm mute if you keep looking solely rationally. You'll believe you're alone yourself. You're going to think nothing has changed, when everything is actually already moving. The sky is already in its place. Miguel is prepared already. My pledges are already in effect. However, you must adjust your perspective to match my reality. You don't acknowledge it when I submit it, but you keep requesting confirmation. Continue to ask for directions, but disregard the interruptions I gave you permission to ignore. Continue to pray for protection, but refuse to accept the boundaries I set for your safety. Sometimes I keep you by closing doors rather than opening them, in which I lead you by keeping everything around you silent rather than by speaking, in which I bless you by removing you from situations that appear to be beneficial but would actually harm you on the inside. You want to know everything, I know that. However, certain things require obedience before they can be comprehended. Faith always comes before rationalization. Renunciation of human rationality is always required for spiritual perception. I'm adamant about opening the soul's eyes because of this. Don't rely just on what you can see. Start using your spirit to discern. Because the assistance you requested has been provided. However, you will reject the miracle while asking for it if you continue to wait for it to happen the way you envision. In response, I have put some individuals at your side. However, you lack trust. I've released some words for you, yet you're still unsure. I have brought chances into your life, yet you continue to yearn for something cozier. Meanwhile, frustration increases. It's not that I'm not acting, rather, your expectations are based on the format rather than the content. You anticipate that I will appear as I did previously, but I am a creative God. Even when I alter the format, I always fulfill my commitment. I thus extend an invitation to you today to harmonize your vision with mine. Should cease seeking out external indicators while failing to take internal action. You are alive with my spirit. You will listen if you keep silent. You'll realize if you give up. Even if you don't understand, you will be able to see clearly what is already taking place if you choose to trust. For it's not that I'm aloof. Simply put, you're preoccupied. I'm not saying that I'm silent. My voice has just been drowned out by others. There is no help coming. It was sent previously. However, your heart must calm down. You must silence your spirit. Your religion must be in charge. After that, what once appeared to be quiet will turn out to be guidance. It felt like protection, like a postponement. What appeared to be preparing but was empty. And you'll realize that I was always there when your eyes open. That I never abandoned you. That everything was always going on, and you hadn't seen it yet. Share this word with someone who needs to open their eyes if it helped you see something that was previously concealed. Because you are surrounded by people who are praying for assistance, but they are unaware that it has already come. And the link between that reaction and their hearts may be your obedience. You keep requesting answers, miracles, and breakups. And I want to share all of this with you. However, I want you to realize something crucial. There are promises that are waiting to be fulfilled, but they will only materialize if you obey. Paths are opened by prayer. Faith is a powerful force. However, obedience makes what I've already unleashed come to pass. Because simply asking is insufficient, you also need to answer. Wanting is insufficient, you must make a decision. Praying is not enough, you also need to follow through on your requests. My daughter and son, I'm not expecting you to be flawless. Never been. I am aware of your shortcomings, personal conflicts, and weaknesses. I see your doubts, your anxieties, and your secret struggles. I can see your earnestness, though. And to me, that is the most important thing. Because it is through your surrender, not your might, that you will achieve what I have decided. And when you comply even if you don't fully understand, that's when you truly surrender. Even while you're crying, you say, yes, when you do the same amazing move. I've already set the path. The materials are already aligned by me. People have already been positioned by me. However, I'm waiting for you to wake up. Don't delay any longer. Give in to my call. Because even when you pray for change, you continue to cling to things that should be abandoned. He continues his same routines while demanding new doors. Ignore the last instruction I gave you while you're asking for directions. Furthermore, I can't construct the new on shaky ground. I need your actual delivery. Frequently, I am the one waiting for you, even if you believe you are waiting on me. Awaiting your leap of confidence. I'm waiting for you to decide to cut the things that are holding you back. Enduring little setbacks while waiting for your place. Because modest acts of trust are the first steps toward obedience, not big deeds. When you quit consuming the things that make you weak. When you refuse everything that will keep you from me. When, despite your want to avoid it, you return to the secret. When you fulfill your promise, even if no one else is around. When I perceive a willing heart, I move with strength. When I see someone willing to relinquish control, I unleash the impossible. Because spiritual obedience, not human effort, is what ignites my favor. Even though you're exhausted, you will witness the otherworldly if you follow my instructions. Even though you might feel perplexed, if you choose to follow your faith, you will find opportunities where none were before. Even though you are encircled, I will cause rivers to spring out in the desert if you pay attention to me and do what I say. Lord, what is missing, you ask me. And I respond to you today, it's still up for debate. There is still action. You must have faith. The move you have been avoiding still has to be taken. What I have previously requested needs to be released. Since heaven is prepared. They've already arranged the prize. Your name is already on the blessing. However, I need your response. Your dread must be overcome by your submission. I need your affirmation to be heard above your skepticism. Your obedience alters destinies, son or daughter. It transforms generations, not just your path. Modify your legacy, your past, and your house. Because hell trembles when one of my sons obeys. The whole world changes when one places oneself in a posture of holiness. Furthermore, I didn't ask you to live a half-hearted life. I broke up with you over the phone. To exercise authority and rule. To make my splendor appear where there was before darkness. But obeying is the first step in the process. Don't wait for confirmations any longer. They arrived already. Stop hiding behind justifications. All they do is slow you down. The time has come to ignite what has been halted. Now is the time to reveal what has been suppressed. And when your religion becomes an attitude, this is what occurs. When your prayer becomes action. When your expectation becomes actual compliance. Like this video and subscribe to the channel if this word validated what your soul was already experiencing. This allows you to remain in touch with what heaven is releasing and spread the information to additional people who need to make the same choice you are doing now. Nothing you do for me out of love is overlooked. No acquiescence, no quiet, no repressed weeping. Before my throne, everything you have done to be faithful is being observed and documented. And you would never question the power of your quiet decisions again if you could see what changes in the sky each time you decide to follow me, even when no one else is around. Miguel is fighting for more than just you. He's wailing. You're crying because you've witnessed the difference you can make if you persevere. As he is aware of the stakes. He is aware of the strategies the opponent has devised to try to distract you, quiet you, or take your essence. However, he has also witnessed your resistance. You were exhausted, yet you persisted. You didn't turn around despite your fear. Despite your reservations, you continue to believe. And that tenacity is strong. Hell fears you, my daughter and son. Because of what you hold within yourself, not what you display to other people. The adversary is afraid of your loyalty. Your insistence causes him to shudder. Since he hoped you had given up long ago. He attempted to spiritually isolate you, built emotional traps, and fired arrows into your head. And yet you were still there. Nevertheless, you contacted me. You didn't abandon your religion, though. Miguel is pleading because of this. Not so that I can assist you, I'm already with you, but so that you keep going, don't give up now, and see what is ahead. I didn't make you to be a failure. To win, I shaped you. To oppose. To serve as a live example of what I can do with a person who decides to follow me in the face of seeming opposition. And I'm here today to reiterate, your devotion is being repaid. There are seeds that are going to bloom, even if you can't see it now. Furthermore, they are not your typical seeds. They are the seeds of long ago vows, earnest prayers, and evenings when I was the only one who could hear you. It's time to begin harvesting the things that faith sowed. Miguel begs because you are on the verge of something wonderful, not because you are weak. Additionally, hell attempts to confuse you more the closer you come. He wants you to believe that nothing is happening, that everything is at a halt, and that your efforts are not worthwhile. However, I assure you that everything is coming into alignment. Everything is going just as I want it to. Connections are being set up. Doors are being modified. Seams are being cleaned. Because nothing can stop me from acting once I make up my mind to do so. The number of fights won without you even recognizing it is unimaginable. You have been steered from situations that may ruin you. Words meant to cause you pain were muffled. You've shattered relationships that would make you want to go. And all of this as a result of your decision to trust. Because you choose to hold off. Because even without acknowledgement or justification, you made the decision to remain steadfast. You might be surprised to learn how important this is. I respect those who respect me. Those who seek me in secret I elevate. When everything shouts, not worth it, I give rewards to those who answer, yes. Because of this, the things that are going to enter your life will not be typical. The reaction will be cumulative. Justice will be served. It will be an outward manifestation of the silently constructed. Nothing is ever forgotten by me. And I can assure you that your narrative will exalt my name. And the adversary who attempted to stop you will observe what I perform through you from a distance. Continue, son, daughter. Don't slow down. Don't compromise your obedience. Don't let haste ruin the quality of what I'm putting together. Some things are only made available to people who stick with it through to the very finish. You're closer than you realize, too. Deliveries have already been arranged by me. Angels are already in place. I've already announced my blessings. Miguel, my fighter, keeps calling out because he understands that what is going to happen in your life will have an influence that extends much beyond you. It's not over yet. It's the pivotal moment. Maturity was what appeared to be a delay. What appeared to be quiet was really construction. And I shall turn what appeared to be a little testimony into a significant one. Miguel never makes a plea that is unsuccessful. And you never show devotion that isn't reciprocated. I am the seeing, hearing, and doing Lord. And since it was developed in closeness, I say now that your obedience will be publicly honored. And I've already started, and nothing will stop it. Despite your repeated requests for a new time, you continue to hang on to things that should be let go. When I ask you to release go, you hesitate, even though you have been begging for change. Despite your resistance to closing doors that no longer bring you to where I lead you, you have dreamed of open doors. And I tell you this with firmness and love today, the secret is surrender. The previous structures are incompatible with the new one I generated for you. Furthermore, you will keep the promises from being fulfilled as long as you insist on keeping what ought to have already been left. I'm asking you to believe me, not to comprehend everything, my son and daughter. Because I see things that you do not. I am aware of the developments that are still pending. And I am aware of what lies underneath what you think is secure. You refer to some circumstances as stable, yet they have kept you from developing. You insist on maintaining some relationships that are draining your soul because you are afraid of losing them. Additionally, certain behaviors divert you from your mission while providing you with short-term relief. The loss of your mission would be far more terrible than the anguish of letting go. I'm not requesting your release on a whim, but rather for safety. Because some things have hidden delays even if they appear to be helpful to you. And the God who guards the seed I sowed inside you is me. That which has not yet flowered but already carries a great future is still in formation. That's why I need to synchronize your delivery before I take you to the new. Because while you won't let go of what no longer serves you, I can't surrender what I've prepared. I am aware that there are expectations, memories, and even individuals involved. I can see how your heart is split between what you should have terminated and what you dreamed of. However, I would want to remind you that I am the one who creates everything. I am the beginning, middle, and end of you. And I don't take anything away from you to punish you. It's for your protection. I don't lose anything when I close. It's getting ready. There is nothing pointless in what I leave behind. I used to take you to the core of my will because of everything. You are not regressing. They're pruning it. Every pruning procedure is painful, but it also signals the arrival of fruit. Repositioning is what appeared to be retreating. Strategic separation explains what appeared to be loneliness. Not because you didn't deserve to be there, but rather because your development would annoy others who weren't yet ready to go with you. I pulled you from places and kept you away from people. You will now witness doors opening that no amount of human effort could open if you fully trust and submit. There is more to surrender than just lovely phrases. It's a sensible choice. It's deciding to have faith in spite of ignorance. It involves letting go of painful things even when doing so still feels essential. Even when the scenario says to wait a little longer, it is responding to my voice with yes. And I can assure you that what first appeared to be loss will really be deliverance if you do this and genuinely submit today. And everything you believed you couldn't live without will prove how sufficient I am. The new one is prepared. But I can't make commitments to people who aren't all on the same page. Wholeness is what I need. I require your devoted allegiance. Because you lose when you give up something I didn't ask for. However, you get something far better when you let go of what I have already requested. What I offer for you doesn't fit into comfort zones, unhealthy habits, or superficial partnerships. It takes bravery to do what I have for you. And I'm infusing your spirit with that bravery today. Make the decision to put your faith in me above your emotions. Make the decision to put my instructions ahead of your feelings. Because I am neither a guy who lies nor a son of man who makes promises that I cannot keep. I promise to. I promise to take care of it. I promise to accompany you. I am, too. I follow you every step of the way. I gather all of your tears. I honor every decision to obey. Enjoy this video as an expression of trust and surrender if this word resonated with you. Something in the sky is activated by every return motion, and this small movement can be the start of the new thing you've been longing for. You are surrounded by individuals that I did not send. They are there, they talk to you lovingly, they walk along you, but they don't share my vision for your life. I demand terror, and they don't have it. They don't help you get married. Instead, they gradually push you away. They put out your fire with meaningless chatter, cast doubt on your beliefs with subtly worded remarks, and erode your faith with their own fears. And you've let them stay because of your love for them, your habit, or your dread of being alone. However, I'm here to caution you that not all company is good. Not every presence equates to coverage. Affinity is not always a heavenly bond. Setting boundaries with my son and daughter does not imply a lack of affection. To decide who may walk with you is not judgment. You were called to serve a cause, not to win over everyone. And certain people, no matter how reliable they may seem to you, were put at your side specifically to slow down what I want to speed up. They are friendships that drain your energy, bonds that perplex you, and guidance that looks nice but does not originate from my spirit. And if you don't see this right away, you can lose yourself in your attempt to maintain the identity I'm requesting you to abandon. Do you recall Adam? He fell because he listened to the wrong person at the wrong time, not because he faced the enemy alone. Do you recall Samson? He was defeated not by an army but rather by a badly crafted partnership, which he insisted on upholding in spite of my cautions. Solomon, too. So enlightened, so full of my presence, but he disregarded me by letting the wrong forces inhabit a place that ought to be holy. I do not want you to make the same errors twice. Living with people who don't respect my name would ruin your heart, and I don't want that. Have you ever had the feeling that something wasn't right? Have you ever seen how being around particular individuals inhibits your quest for me? Have you found that some ties cause you to feel more divided, nervous, and insecure? However, he continues on sticking to them, maybe in the hopes that they will alter or out of a fear of coming seen as radical. Today, however, I assure you that purposeful isolation is preferable to a business that removes you from my control. Being surrounded by people who keep you in the shallows is not what I called you to do. You were summoned to go deep. To live a holy life. To honestly reflect myself. You should be mindful of who you listen to as well as what you listen to. Not just what you say, but also with whom you are intimate. Because certain words are contaminating. Certain motions get weaker. There are places where your faith is drained. And you will start to defend what you formerly referred to as sin if you keep your heart open to people who weren't sent to help you grow. You will start to put up with things that used to make you feel bad. You'll start to adjust to a setting that separates you from me. I love you too much, though, to let this happen without telling you. You're getting discernment from me. I am revealing to you, one by one, who I dispatched and who has just come. Your spirit is being blown indications, discomforts, and impressions by me. And you'll see that I've been working for a while to break you away from certain affiliations if you pay attention to me. Those ties have already been broken by me. That you insist on going back to cycles that I have previously removed you from. Because I am a god of jealousy. As your call is valuable. Additionally, although some ties are still in place, I am unable to do some of the things I wish to do in your life. I'm not asking you to dislike anyone, son or daughter. I want you to make a distinction. To safeguard the seeds I sowed in you. To protect the incorrect seeds from entering your heart. As well as to provide room for the links I've previously planned. Indeed, there will be fresh arrivals soon. People who will encourage you, join you in prayer, and rejoice in your quest for me. However, others must depart in order for them to enter. The cutting is required for alignment to take place. The old must end in order for the new to start. Tell someone who needs to know who is with them if this word resonated with you. Bonds that appear nice but subtly destroy trust have damaged many lives. And the waking tool that heaven wishes to employ today may be your obedience in sharing. You weren't meant to walk with someone, but you weren't made to walk alone either. I am the Lord, and I am aware of the course I have set for your life. I am aware of the heights you are going to ascend, the valleys you will have to traverse, and the deserts you will yet encounter. I have thus already made connections that are in line with what is to happen, since I am a father who attends to every detail. People who will go in the same direction as you, in addition to being at your side. Individuals that share the same spirit, respect my presence, and will enhance rather than diminish your goal. My daughter and son, you have clung to past connections as though they were essential to your progress. However, I'll tell you now, certain ties are useful in one context but useless in another. Some individuals were significant, but they had already performed their duties. Additionally, you will be late if you insist on bringing everyone along. You'll go overboard. In an attempt to win over hearts that are unwilling to follow me, you will circle about. You can't climb with everyone. The anointing I poured out on you is too heavy for everyone. I'm asking you to be zealous, and not everyone will understand. And it's all right. Because I am both the God who adds and the God who takes away. I don't exclude anything. Provision will always exist when obedience is present. Additionally, the provision for your heart has been made available. Friendships are ready. Spiritual counselors are waiting to envelop you. There are individuals who will support you as you develop, thrive, and maintain your composure in the face of adversity. You don't have to plead for attention from those who don't respect you anymore. To prevent upsetting someone, you don't have to stop talking. To be welcomed, you don't have to conceal your faith. I'm taking this load off of you. I'll clear your path. I'm showing you that genuine closeness isn't about taking you away from me, rather, it's about drawing you closer. The definition of true love is when someone prays for you, celebrates your obedience, challenges you in love, and doesn't laugh when your faith wanes. And I've already put these folks on the route. But you have to make room for them to come. I am aware that it is difficult to let go. However, I am also aware of my preparations. And you wouldn't think twice about releasing what ought to have been supplied sooner if you were aware of the magnitude of what was about to happen. The new is an atmosphere rather than only a period of time. And all aspects of your life, including your relationships, must be in harmony for you to truly feel this. Because the people you walk with have an impact on your spiritual sensitivity, rhythm, and vision. Furthermore, I refuse to let misaligned voices stifle what I am exposing to you. Have faith in me. When I separate, I don't make a mistake. When I leave, I don't make a mistake. I dismiss people because I've already glimpsed the future. I cut off communication because I'm trying to keep your heart safe. Additionally, I release some ties while I mute others. Some folks will listen to you in a way that no one else has. Who will join you in prayer as no one else has? Who will share your dreams without becoming jealous of your progress? Despite their imperfections, these individuals are blessings from me. And they're en route. Therefore, don't oppose my movement. Please don't attempt to fix something I've already closed. Don't hold it against yourself if you have to move on. I'm developing something far larger. And those who accompany you in this new era will be sanctified, mature, and aligned. You won't have to justify your thirst to me anymore. You won't have to defend your split anymore. They'll comprehend. They will walk with you, just as fervently. And development will occur when there is consensus. Glory will be found where there is togetherness. Growth and stability are guaranteed when there is a covenant in my spirit. It's time to have faith in my driving. To welcome the new cycle into your heart. You go closer to the altar as you let rid of things that no longer serve you. And to give me permission to create the right connections for the right reasons at the right times. You cannot be surrounded by people who do not respect what they carry, because I have chosen to share something higher with you, not because you have to. Subscribe to this channel right away if this word resonated with you. I'll keep talking to you here, bringing all I've previously shared about you into line with your vision and heart. You are already aware of what must be done. Neither revelation nor guidance are lacking. You have already seen my spirit. When you attempted to push anything that did not originate from me, I already murmured inside of you, gave you signals, disrupted your routes, and took away your tranquility. In actuality, your intellect has already recognized, your spirit has already sensed, and your heart has already comprehended. But you've been hesitant up until now. It's been delayed. My voice has been muffled so that I can hear the customary consolation. And I came as a father today to finally awaken you, not to blame you. Determining what has to be done is no longer the focus. It all comes down to having the guts to take action. Because your fear of suffering, change, and renunciation is what is preventing you from moving forward, not a lack of insight. You are aware of the things you should stop doing, the people you should stop hanging out with, and the things that have made you less sensitive to spiritual things. However, you continue to put things off as though time were on your side. As though the choice wasn't critical. As if your justifications were enough to support your call. But the moment is now, I assure you. The window is open, and anyone chooses to proceed will witness what I have planned come to pass. I'm behaving already. Parts have previously been moved by me. Resources have already been made available. I've set up connections already. I've made pledges before. However, you must set certain boundaries. Only you have the ability to make certain cuts. You are the only one who can close some doors. Because I endowed you with spiritual authority and free will. Additionally, you will be trapped between what was and what may be if you don't make a decision. You will carry bonds that don't support your next season, and you will continue to feel the weight of what no longer flows. In cycles, I have talked to you, my daughter and son. I've been reminding you once more of the issues that need to be fixed. In order for you to understand that the time for you to stay where you are is over, I have permitted discomfort. However, when I called you to advance and triumph, you grew acclimated to the thought of survival. When I called on you to rely on my guidance, you took charge. You now have to make a decision if you choose to participate in everything that lies ahead. It's between your will and mine, not between options. I won't abandon you in the decision-making process. I support you in every way. Blowing over your thoughts, boosting your soul, and enhancing your eyesight. You will still have the option, though. You either accept that what is falling is because I am letting it finish, or you keep attempting to hold what is already collapsing together. Where the old is still in power, the new cannot emerge. And you will keep heaven from finishing the job as long as you insist on preserving what ought to have been provided already. Cutting is unpleasant, yes. However, I can assure you that it is freeing. Because the result of your obedience is harvest, not nothing. After you make a choice, relief rather than loneliness emerges. I unlock doors of knowledge when you close a door in fidelity. I say yes to promises that were not kept while you say no out of love for me. I push you to the seat of honor I've prepared for you once you cease arguing with what holds you back. Don't allow fear to deceive you. You will always be persuaded by fear that the loss will outweigh the gain. That being said, I am the God who honors anything that is left out of obedience. I am the God who bestows honor upon every act of renunciation. I am the God who turns every obstacle in the here and now into opportunities for the future. Furthermore, what I have for you is far more valuable than what you are currently attempting to protect. This is a pivotal time for you. Furthermore, it is not your intelligence, position, or strength that will determine your next level. It's your response. How ready you are to follow my instructions even if they go against what you would like. If it means some companionship, how much are you willing to walk with me? To what extent are you prepared to cede authority to me? Because the one who gives himself up to me wins. Obedient people don't back down. Whoever makes a decision against my will invariably ends up with what no mind has envisioned, no eyes have seen, and no ears have heard. However, anybody who opposes, insists on bargaining, or sets one foot in me and the other in the world will become ambivalent, unstable, and susceptible to time's traps. I'll call you today to make a decision. And follow your instincts. Not tomorrow. Not till one more confirmation. Now, however. Because the reaction you have been waiting for can be activated by your obedience right now. It can remove the obstacle that has prevented you from moving forward. It may be the start of your life's most amazing new beginning. It's past time to take action if you sense that this word is burning in your soul. I'm present. Awaiting your next move. Monitoring your movements. And prepared to accomplish far more than you first anticipated, from the time you carry out the tasks you already know need to be completed. I want you to know something today that will make a huge difference. The altar mentioned your name. Yes, your name resounded authoritatively before me amidst the many shouts, screams, and sounds that ascend to the sky every day. Nor as a random plea, nor as a faraway recollection, but as a call with a mission. Your soul was declared with eternal purpose. I was urgently presented with your tale. And in the spiritual realm, this completely alters everything. I always listened when you prayed without realizing it. Without a human witness, my spirit gathered every tear that dropped on the pillow. Every time you opted for prayer over action, submission over pride, or quiet over retaliation, it rose like incense to my throne. You believed that nobody noticed and that nothing occurred. The sky was working in your favor, even if you felt like you were barely alive. I never disregarded you, my daughter and son. Your work never ceased to amaze me. Even though no one acknowledged it, I will always remember what you did for me out of love. And I'm here today to tell you that hell trembles when heaven calls out someone's name. Because coverage is activated by this mention. Angels are activated. Deliverances are activated. Brings latent promises to life. Decrees were issued when your name was spoken. Plans were ruined. The doors have been moved. Because those who stay faithful, even in secret, are not left unanswered by me. There have been days when it feels like everything is going out of control. There are times when it seems like nothing changes, that no prayer works, and that nothing moves. But I'm here today to tell you that, even if you're not aware of it, everything is moving. Because there is no force that can oppose me when I call out the name of one of my children at the altar. It's like turning on a network of heavenly intervention. That's what's going on right now. The weight went up as a result. The onslaught grew more subdued as a result. Since something is going to shatter. That word didn't come to you because of your feelings. Heaven was there. I brought you here. I ruined your day. I got you to pause and pay attention. Because I need you to know now that you are not being overlooked. You've been marked. It's preserved. My attention is focused on it. And I never forgot, despite the fact that others have forgotten you. I would personally reignite your light even if they attempted to extinguish it. Because males did not give you your identity. I wrote it. And whatever I write stays in place. Your name is more than simply a string of characters. It's a mission. It is a divine seed that is full with fate. And it was because the moment had come that I declared it at the altar. It's time to take action. It's time to go. Now is the moment to do what ears and eyes have not heard. But I need you to go on for that. I need you to be strong right now. When you are so near to manifesting your promise, may you not break it. I am aware of your frailty. However, my commitment is not negated by your frailty. I am aware that you have considered giving up. Nevertheless, he decided to remain. And you won't believe the value of that decision. She rips the heavens with her mute cry. And I respond to that scream today by saying, your name is on my altar. I am in charge of your cause. It's not a pointless trip. Your entire life was a waste. Not even the errors. For all things are being redeemed. And I honorably restore when I redeem. I increase when I restore. I send you more than you anticipated when I multiply. However, it all begins with the realization that I see you. You are someone I know. Yes, I did address you by name. Comment now if this phrase resonated with you. My name is on the altar. Because when you realize that you have been remembered, the spiritual world will be in line with what I have already decided for you. This is your answer of trust before heaven. I see everything, yet you still can't. And I think it's fantastic. I'm getting you ready for something far bigger than you could have ever dreamed. You didn't squander any of your life. Not the quiet times, not the joyful times, not the falls that made you weak. I used everything as a tool to mold your personality, bolster your faith, and adjust your spiritual sensitivity. Because I know you so well, I know precisely what you needed to let happen and what I needed to let happen in order for you to grow up and be able to handle what lies ahead. Why did it take so long? You questioned. Because I love you too much to offer you anything you weren't ready to handle, I'm responding to you now. Because the commitments I made to you need complete reliance on me, emotional maturity, and internal structure. And I had to instill this in you before I could take you to them. You had to learn how to hear me in the quiet. Having faith in me in the wilderness. Being steadfast while those around you were telling you to quit up. I noticed when you considered halting, my daughter and son. As no one else was listening to you, I was there as your heart screamed out, Lord, I don't understand what's happening. Even though you felt that you were sobbing alone, I dried your tears. And I'm here to tell you that every little thing, every procedure, every agony, and every weight helped me put you in this position. They were preparing you for the impending escape from paradise. There was a reason you prepared. There was reason behind the conflicts. You were being trained to bear something immortal by me. Something that will benefit those around you as well as your own life. Some people will be moved by your tale, your change, and your devotion in the face of adversity. Because you are not as huge as what I am doing to you. It is foretelling. It is a calculated move. It never ends. Don't turn back now that you've made it this far. Now that your faith has been put to the test, continue to have faith. Even though you haven't yet seen everything. Even though certain things are unclear. Because manifestation will happen sooner than you anticipate. And you'll see why I waited, why I trimmed, and why I didn't say anything. You will realize that it was always love. Enjoy this video as an act of faith if this word resonated with you. A little move like this may sometimes set off a huge force in the sky, further aligning you with what I'm going to perform. I assure you, this is the turning moment, even if you thought it was over when you got this far. Even if everything appears to be the same to you, it is the very time when things begin to change. Because I was already acting while you were waiting for a sign. I had already mailed it while you were yelling for assistance. The whole sky was shifting in your favor while you believed nothing was occurring. The period of waiting is now beginning to give way to the period of revelation. I'm bringing back what you cried for, what felt too far away, and what you believed you had lost. However, not in the same manner. I am returning with a purpose, releasing with strength, and rebuilding with glory. Because I do a lot of work. I don't provide a partial response. I always act in a way that makes it impossible for anyone to doubt that I did it. And that is precisely what is going to occur, something that bears my stamp rather than your strength. Now is the moment for your faith to be heard above your emotions, my son and daughter. At this point, your obedience must take precedence above your comprehension. Because everything will be in alignment even if not everything will be disclosed. I'm not phoning to ask you all the details. I'm requesting your trust. Because you give me permission to act freely when you trust me, even if you can't see. Additionally, miracles occur where my spirit is free. Get up and have faith. Don't gaze to the sides in fear or back with regret. Look up, that's where you'll get assistance. The assistance that has already been made available. The solution is already en route. The door has begun to open already. Everything is moving. Even if it may still feel gloomy, keep in mind that the morning always arrives quietly, without warning, but with the assurance that the night will end and the light will arrive. What appeared to be the end is actually just the beginning. You're getting stronger because of something you believed would break you. I'm lifting you up using everything the enemy attempted to use to tear you down. When placed in my hands, there is no agony that is wasted. When one lives in obedience, no time is wasted. And what I have already decided over your life cannot be stopped by any human restriction. Breathe deeply. This is only the start of something truly remarkable.